we finished last video advising that we're going to start this video about spandrels.
Jim, what is a spandrel?
A spandrel, as you architectural students should know, is a term used by architects to define the treatment between the top or the ceiling of a vision glass window and the sill of the vision glass window on the floor above.
So it's the non-vision area.
Correct. It can be an ornamental facade element put in place, or it can be glass. Let's have a look first at some different options of glass spandrels. The most basic and cost-effective is a monolithic piece of glass with a ceramic frit paint to the inside face of the glass. Now that ceramic frit
Very hard and durable, as we know. Will not fade.
And you can use it as either an architectural feature, or you can use it to try to make the spandrel disappear and blend in with the vision glass. The next progression in spandrel detailing is to incorporate a double glazed unit as the spandrel and put the ceramic frit paint on the inside face of the double glazed unit.
And that way you get uniformity between your vision glass and your spandrel glass.
As you've told me, Gary, you're the glass expert, the reflected colour of the IGU and the spandrel with the lowy coating is the benefit of using a double glazed unit of the spandrel, isn't it?
Yes.
You get that same reflected colour.
Uniformity between vision and spandrel.
Another type of spandrel treatment that is quite popular amongst architects, but far from popular amongst you, James, is the shadowbox treatment. The idea of the shadowbox, as detailed in this slide, is to recess an aluminium or a finished sheet at a distance back from the external glass to create the depth of the spandrel and a shadow around the spandrel so that it more matches the vision glass of the building.
As we know, those areas can get very hot in the shadowbox.
That's one of the detrimental properties, Gary. Yes, there's a lot of problems with shadowboxes. Apart from them being the most expensive option for a spandrel treatment in a building, they have a lot of inherent flaws. So the inherent problems are that shadowboxes are basically unmaintainable solar ovens. There's no way to get in and clean them, and as Gary alluded, they get incredibly hot. Condensation can form inside shadowboxes because they're not a hermetically sealed cavity inside the shadowbox. That repeated wetting and drying of the condensation inside the shadowbox can form stains on the inside surface of the glass over time. Another quite interesting effect is the moire effect. Do you know what that is, Gary?
Yes. You get moving shapes.
So basically two overlapping similar patterns, similar dot patterns or lines, when they overlap, it's a perception in your eye that creates these funky, psychedelic, moving rings. It'd be right out of your era, Gary, wouldn't it? Out of the 70s? You recovered from that era yet? So are there any buildings around Brisbane that you can think of, Gary, that are fantastic?
Exhibits the moire effect.
Yeah.
Yes, I think M&A building in the valley, a great effect with glass.
That's an issue with glass there, isn't it?
Yes.
So there was only one surface of the glass that had the dot pattern. It was just the shadow that was
on the inner light of the back panel.
Correct.
That created that effect.
Overlapping matching pattern.
And the other example of a moire effect is Girls' Grammar School.
That's the most recognised building probably in Brisbane. Amazing features, architectural intent that's come out of that building.
Was it intended or not?
Not too sure. Another one that exhibits a moire effect is the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre.
Yes.
The architects on that particular job, we notified them of the potential problem and they said, this is great, we'll make it a feature of the building.
It can be, yeah, moire effect can be used as a feature.
So there's some other traps regarding shadowbox problems that can happen for the less experienced. G. James has been in operation for 100 years. Hopefully we've learned a bit from our mistakes in that time.
Sure we have.
One of the big problems that we learned was that outgassing occurs from materials inside shadowboxes at the very high temperatures that they're subjected to. The Gotham City building, as it's known, or the State Law building in Brisbane, cost us $1 million trying to rectify a problem of a deposit of a black colour being staining the inside surface of the glass on the shadow boxes.
Correct.
Because of the extremely high temperatures in shadow boxes, the aluminium backpan can also buckle, a bit like tin canning. And another issue with shadow boxes is if the internal air seal is not made durable, you could even get rodents that live inside there. There's a quick photo here that shows, finally, the solution that GTAMS has come up with for shadow boxes. It's all by accident. Our illustrious glass department developed the product which has a 50mm air cavity in the glass IGU. The main aim was that to try to achieve better acoustics, wasn't it, Gary?
That is correct.
As a byproduct of that, we found that this is probably the ideal solution to mitigate all those inherent flaws of a shadow box. By creating a hermetically sealed cavity, you gain that depth in the shadow,
Yes.
in the shadow box, the equivalent of a shadow box, and you paint the inside surface of the glass with durable, non-fading, non-staining ceramic fret.
So you achieve the architectural intent in the product, which is going to not break down.
Correct, best of both worlds. Some other options for spandrel treatments include metal panels or solid spandrels rather than glass. There's many options out there. Aluminium extrusions could be used, solid aluminium sheet could be used, composite aluminium sheet could be used. Stainless steel, we've done on a few projects. Zinc sheeting is quite an interesting feature to put in a spandrel, and even copper sheet can be used. However, keep away from copper sheet from my point of view. Any water that runs off copper has an incredibly corrosive property on the aluminium that runs over the top of. So keep in mind, students, aluminium and copper don't mix. Some other options to create an innovative effect with the facade is a terracotta panel, or there's the time-tested stone, natural granite, basalt, marble, they're quite often limestone, sandstone. They're used as spandrel treatments in curtain wall facades, and they create quite a timeless effect to a building, don't they?
Very hard, durable, natural product.
Yeah. A new innovation in spandrel treatments is glass reinforced plastic, used as amazing spandrel effect.
I noticed that there's glass in it.
Yes, because you dig there, Gary. This particular building on the slide has a striking feature of the building created by the architects ARM out of Melbourne. This building, Swanston Square, is on an Indigenous Aboriginal native site, and the architects have incorporated into the whole facade of the building a GRC panel effect which shows the tribal elder's image on the face of the building.
I thought it was a picture of you.
I don't look that distinguished, unfortunately, Gary. So that concludes this video regarding spandrel treatments for facades. Next video, we'll move on to performance criteria of facades.